Hey guys, welcome to week 3 here. Continuing on with unit 2, and today we're going to be talking about the Malthus theory. So, who the heck is this Malthus dude, and what is his grim forecast? All right, we're going to be able to figure that out by the end of the day here. So, before we get into actually who Malthus was and what his grim forecast was and what his theory was, I'm just going to go through a few scenarios, and I want you to think in your head about whether you would agree or disagree with this specific scenario. All right. So, do you think that the world has too many people? So, if you think yes, the world does have too many people, you would be on the agree side. And if you disagree, you would be on the disagree side, obviously. All right. Maybe I would suggest making a little tally mark if you have like your phone out, or you have some paper near you. Just make a little T chart, agree, disagree. All right, I want you to keep track. All right, we do not have enough food to feed everyone. Do you agree with that statement or do you disagree with that statement? All right, again, mark that down. Try to keep track of if you are agreeing or disagreeing with these. We are running out of resources because of all of the people in the world. Do you agree that we are running out of resources because of all the people, or do you disagree or not? Something needs to be done about high birth rates. Do you agree or do you disagree? Now, this is just in general. It's not just talking about one specific place. It's just talking about high birth rates in general. Do they need to be addressed? Agree or disagree? In the future, will there be war/fighting over scarce resources? So maybe will there be a world war over who has access to the fresh water? Is there going to be a war over oil? Is there going to be a war over any other scarce resource throughout the world? Do you agree or do you disagree? Again, mark that down, all right, whether you agree or you disagree. Because if you agreed with most of those statements, you agree with this guy right here. Now, this guy dressed up all funky, he's Thomas Malthus. All right, he lived from 1766 to 1834. All right, so that's about what 250 years ago. All right, and this guy Thomas Malthus, he came up with this theory. All right, and his theory, let me. His theory here is that as our population increases, we're always going to have the same amount of resources. All right, so this is just a linear line of all of the resources. But as our population increases, all right, so we know that after looking at the DTM and population pyramids, our population's increasing. All right, and he's thinking that once our population gets to a certain point, we're going to reach a point of crisis where the two lines intersect. And once we reach this point of crisis, we're not going to be able to support our population anymore. All right, so just like I said, the world population is growing exponentially due to those rapid growth pyramids there. There's a lot more rapid growth pyramids than there are negative growth pyramids. If there's nothing done to stop population growth, according to Thomas Malthus, we're going to hit that point of crisis and run out of resources. And that's when we're going to see war and famine and things along those lines, according to Malthus. And so what Malthus proposed was implementing population policies to promote zero population growth. All right, and so what population policies would we implement? Can you think of some in your head that you would think could help us reach zero population growth all throughout the world? Every single country being at zero population growth. So some population control policies around the world. None of these are in effect today. These were just in the past that they were implemented. So China had a one-child policy in 1979, which just offered incentives to those who followed, and if you didn't, you were punished. And that system was managed by like the local governments. So maybe the governor, maybe your mayor. In India, India has a very large young population. Um, the rapid growth model, think about that population pyramid. There's a lot of people at the bottom, not a lot at the top. And so a method one of the Indian state governments is using to try to slow birth rates is paying couples to wait to have babies for 2 years in between. And then in Pakistan, they have South Asia's highest birth rate, with women having on average 4 children. All right. So high population growth is problematic in a nation with really high unemployment because it costs a lot of money to have kids, to feed them, to house them, etc. And so when there's really high unemployment, how can you keep those babies healthy? So authorities are promoting child spacing, which is encouraging the families um, have a kid every 3 years. All right. So just not one year, one the next year, one the following year, wait 3 years between each. All right, so what is a neo-Malthusian? That's a modern day Malthus. That's people with the same basic concerns as Malthus. So if you agreed with the majority of those statements at the very beginning of this presentation, you would be considered a neo-Malthusian. And so what neo-Malthusians advocate for is population control programs to ensure that not only your generation has enough resources to survive, but also future generations, they have enough resources to survive. All right, so you're thinking more about protecting the future and your own generation, all right, instead of just the present day. Now you can watch this video at the end if you would like, but you don't have to. All right, that's all I have for you today.